Hey, you guys, welcome to another episode of The Sesh Connection. I'm your host, Tracy Valentine. Glad to see you all today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Quiet down, Yingling. Yes, the co-host is back. He's back here. Of course, we've netted him in. All is well. Let's hope that works. I pretty much doubt it. Let's see. Pretty much doubt it. But that's okay. Not a problem. I hope you guys have all had a great and wonderful week. Of course, this past week we did, in fact, celebrate National Women's Day, as well as on the same day it was Women's Beer Collab Day. So what ended up happening on Beer Collab Day? So let's talk for a minute about that. So we wanted to go and visit Lady Justice, right? We talked about that brewery a couple of times. I had said that I really wanted to go there. We always apologize for the sirens, everybody. And so does Yingling. Anyhow, we did say that we wanted to go there. However, they are moving shop, you guys. They're actually going to be on Acoma in Denver, Englewood, actually, to be exact. And if you guys don't know about where this is, they're going to be at the old Sunroom Brewery. The Sunroom Brewery is a nice, small, but like big inside brewery. I think that's going to be great for them. If you've ever been to the original Lady Justice brewery, it's a little small, which is a shame because it's such a big place. It's just big everything. The atmosphere, the beer tenders are just a big presence. So it's kind of like they needed this. They need to get into that bigger area for sure. Yeah. So please. Guys, hold on one second. I do apologize for the inconvenience. Yeah, the dog's never an inconvenience. All right, so he's moved up a little bit, guys. It's okay. All is well. All in all, though, anyway, so we didn't get a chance to visit them, but just a good heads up for you all. They will be opening up, actually, March 20th is their opening day at the new brewery on Acoma Street. But I think they're doing their grand opening in April. I want to say the 6th and the 7th. So just keep that in mind. I believe that the regular opening is going to be probably a soft opening. So great. Please go and visit Lady Justice Brewery. So again, we did not get to visit them for the collab day. We did go to Kokopelli Brewery for for International Women's Day, of course. I think I was hoping to see a collab of some sort going on. They do boast about being women-owned, women-operated, so I was really excited to go and see what they had planned for the day. They did not have anything brewing as far as like a women's collab thing goes. Okay. You're all right, little monkey. So anyway, so we did go and visit them. And as I said, it is the first solely women-owned and operated brewery pub or brew pub in Colorado. And they have 30 unique taps, 27 of which are theirs. The others are some guest taps that they have. They do supply many different types of brews, of course, many different types of craft beers. They have a full kitchen that offers appetizers, hand-tossed pizzas, Sammys, and salads. Plus, they actually also have desserts. Not many breweries offer you up some desserts as well, so that's also pleasant to hear. As they like to say, it is a place where friends meet friends and make new ones. So I think that's wonderful. The owners are Christine and her husband, Rick. Hold on one second, you guys. I do apologize for that. We'll get right back on there. Don't go anywhere. And let's get that going. Start our camera. There we are. We're just going to do it on a different platform right now for a second. You guys stay with me. Don't you worry. We'll get this all figured out. Like I said, you're here for all of the little quirks and craziness, and I'm okay with that as long as you guys are okay with it. I like that you stick around for it all. So thank you very, very much. So let's get right back into this. We had a few little quirks already, huh? The dog, the camera, the sirens, but we're back and it's okay. So anyhow, Christine and Rick own Kokopelli Brewery. It actually represents both the Southwest and Midwest, which is why they have their logo. And Kokopelli kind of presides over both of them agriculturally. Now, I can't really tell you the correlation between the Kokopelli fertility god and a brewery, and that's okay. But just keep in mind, guys, that that this is something that they feel very strongly about with the Kokopelli character. So far be it for anyone to try and change that for them. You know what I mean? Anyhow. Again, I do appreciate all these little camera issues that I'm having today. Didn't have them last week, guys, and that's a good thing. That was like, what, our first show where we didn't have a camera issue? Amazing. So anyhow, I did find it, though, ironic, going back to this whole Kokopelli thing, that here I go to Kokopelli Brewery on Friday to do a beer review at their brewery, and oddly enough, Saturday, I did a pop-up. I know we'll get more into this, of course, for the cannabis segment of my show. But just to let you know, I went Saturday morning and I did a pop-up for the company I work for, 111. And turns out that the place I was at, the Herbal Cure, also uses the Kokopelli fertility god for their symbolism for their logo at the dispensary. So it seems to me that the Kokopelli symbol is... I think it actually must mean more to others than just a fertility god. I mean, otherwise, all I could really think of is fertility plus beer equals children, fertility plus cannabis. Yeah, could do the same thing. Absolutely. So, yeah, Kokopelli's. So anyway, all in all, though, you guys, it was a great brewery. Great dispo, too. Don't get me wrong. But as I said, we'll save that for the second segment of the show. So what beers did I have while I was there? I know that's what I'm getting to, don't worry. So the first beer that I had was the Bodacious Blonde. The Bodacious Blonde is a 5%, nice, bright, crisp blonde ale. It is very sweet, not like too overly powering sweet, but just that good crispy sweetness. Nice silky mouthfeel as well. It was just refreshing, very refreshing. Of course, you all know everything I try, or at least try to try, is going to be a little bit more light, despite what we're going to be reviewing later on in the segment. You know, I do like trying those light beers. So I'm always down to try those. You know, I'll bring somebody else with me sometimes to try, as we've talked about, those IPAs or those darker beers. Some, you know, I do like, so I will try them and I will let you know. But, you know, it's just, again, it's just not my thing. So back to what else we tried. I tried a Mr. Rebel Kolsch. This too was a 5% beer. Light German style Kolsch. It was nice and crisp, super effervescent, the way I truly feel a Kolsch should be, a nice effervescent beer. And it had these light, like fruity citrus notes to it for sure. Just really, again, very refreshing. And that's kind of what I like. You know, it's great to try beers that are heavy. It's great to try beers that have a sour, sappy taste to them sometimes. But I mean, I'm sure a lot of you are like me when it comes down to like that, you know, that hot day, like me and my father talked about on one of the episodes. You know, you want that crisp, cold beer after a long day out in the sun, or even just hanging out barbecuing with your friends. You don't want something really that's going to weigh you down for the day. I want to enjoy myself with my friends. I don't want to be like, after my second one, guys, I got to go home. It's been a little too much. I think I had too many IPAs. No, I want to drink with you. I want to have a good time. So to me, light and crispy always kind of helps, which is great. So I also feel that the last one that I had was the Edelweiss, of course, which is a 4.5% Bavarian style Pilsner. It was very nicely done, you guys. Floral, spicy notes. A little slight hoppy finish. You know what? Screw that. Let me show you what that looked and tasted like. First of all, let's get a nice, good look at this can. All right, nice Edelweiss Bavarian Pilsner. Yes, the W-E-I, that's pronounced with a V. Weiss. Weiss. All righty. And as I said, 4.5% on this. So let's get this poured and show you what I mean by a nice crispy beer like this. Okay. Look at that. Look at that. So nice and light looking. Already super effervescent. You can see that right there in the, look at that. All those crispy little bubbles in there. That head is dissipating really fast. It's going away because there's tiny itty bitty bubbles in there. Shows you how nicely carbonated this whole thing is. Again, look at that color. It is like a nice light honey color. You know, it's crispy. It's a crispy apple look. Definitely love the color on that. Real nice. Definitely on the florals there. Absolutely. The florals taste super nice, or smell, I should say, super nice. Absolutely. I'm not getting the spice on the nose, but I'm definitely getting the floral. Absolutely, of course, because I said apples, you know I'm getting that apple flavor in there for sure. And now I get, you know, time for a taste. Absolutely. Pinkies up. Really nice on that back end. It has this slight bite. I feel like that might be the Bavarian hop in there, but it has this nice slight, you know, hoppy, as it said, hoppy finish on that back end. Very, very true. I absolutely tasted that. Again, definitely I taste those little spicy notes that they're talking about in there. It's nothing too crazy. It's not like you're not like, you know, eating tandoori, or you're not, you know, it's not coriander. It's not any kind of like crazy spice in there. It's just nice and subtle. Again, nice and crispy, guys. Really enjoyed this one. It was a good brewery. It's rather large. They had two sides to it actually, and it ended up that now they have a third side to it. So I guess they have just recently bought the right-hand side. If you were at the bar facing outward towards the street, the right-hand side they just recently bought, and then as many of you may or may not know, they do have the secondary side open, nice and big. It's a nice sized brew pub, guys. Get out there, take a look. Like I said, owned and operated by women, brewed by women. Great beer. Doesn't just have to come from men. So, unfortunately, you guys, I really wanted to show you something interesting here. So, excuse me as I kind of down this for a second, because I did not bring myself a third glass. And there's a reason why I've got a third glass coming to me. And that is because, of course, we're going to do our traveling. We're going to travel today. Oh, by the way, I apologize. Before we travel, Kokopelli Beer Brewery is actually located in Westminster, in a small shopping center. It's quite large. I actually enjoy it. In Westminster, in Colorado. So if you're here in the area and you want to visit a female-owned brewery, please pop on over to Kokopelli over in Westminster. So anyway, where are we traveling today? Okay, so we're going to travel to Dublin, Ireland for Guinness. Of course, for Guinness. That's right. This upcoming weekend is St. Patrick's Day, so we're going to celebrate a little early. And I get it. I know. But Tracy, why not just show us next Monday? That's the day after St. Patrick's Day. I plan on being inebriated and incoherent on Saturday and Sunday. And I think the last thing I'm going to want to do is remind myself Monday about the amount of beer that I drank on Saturday and Sunday. And by the amount of beer that I drank, I mean that amount of Guinness. Guinness is and has become it's the drink to have for St. Patrick's Day. It's the beer of St. Patrick's Day. There are so many places with stouts all over the place, but Guinness being the the all-time ultimate fave in stouts from way back in the day, and we'll get to that in a moment. That is the official drinking beer for St. Patrick's Day. So Guinness, right? Um, it is a 4.2 beer. And it is, as I said, the official beer of St. Patrick's Day. Get a nice little look at that. Now, typically, you guys know, I try to find, I try to find cans, single cans of stuff. I don't know why. I went to my local grocery store this time around. It was probably because I was pressed for time. Went to my local grocery store, and they did not have a large can of Guinness, which I feel like almost every place has a large can of Guinness. But they didn't have it, and that's okay. I got a 6-pack. We're going to be just fine. Lord knows I am not going to be able to drink an entire 6-pack anytime soon, so that's going to be here for a bit. And plus, with the weekend coming up, I'm already going to be drinking stouts all weekend long. So why did I need another glass? Why did I just down that other one? It is because I have poured a glass already. We are going to, before we talk about a little bit of history on Guinness, we're going to talk about one of the things that they like to do, and that is called a 2-part pour. It is the 2-part Guinness pour. So I wanted to do that and let that sit and basically drink with you while we go over the history of things so that we can do this kind of correctly. Are we going to be able to do it exact? Probably not, considering that most of the pours that we speak of, especially on the show, are going to come from a draft system, okay? So when it comes from a can or a bottle, sometimes we might not get that same effect. But we do want to try and recreate it a little bit so that you understand what they mean by such things as the 2-part pour, right? So the first part of the pour, alrighty, and we're gonna go over this. I wrote it down. We're gonna go over it, all of it. The first part of the pour, of course, you want to hold your glass at a 45-degree angle, and we're gonna pour it probably. There's a little bit of beer left in it. Let me get that. We don't want to mix. So we're gonna pour it about 3/4 of the way up. Now I'm just judging and eyeballing this, and as my family all knows, I am not very good at math. So 3/4, yeah, that's sure. Yep, looks great. So that's going to be our first pour. Why the pour like that? What they actually are trying to do, and typically in a draft system pour, what ends up happening is you get a lot of that beautiful white creamy head that we're going to talk about in a moment here. It is so silky and so smooth. And those of you that have celebrated St. Patrick's Day with a Guinness, you all know of that look. You all know of that creaminess to that head. And we all know that when it's poured correctly from a draft system, that you will be waiting quite some time for that head to go down, especially on a nitro system, right? So so they said, wait a bit, and you want the little bit here to settle before filling it again to the top, right? So we're going to fill it to the top because we've already seen that happen, but we're just going through the motions, really, of doing that full pour, right? That 2-part pour. So we're just going to fill up to the top. We see our head gather. We see how it pulls down a little bit. Now, just because I've spoken about it, I'm going to try and get in there. It might be a little difficult to see, but what you're actually looking at and what I'm trying to have you look at is that head that you just saw for that brief moment. It actually, it does have this like nice brown coloring to it. And on a typical basis, like I said, it's just a very silky looking brown. And it's even got that silky mouth feel as well, which is, yeah, it's the Guinness pour. It's the way the Guinness should be. You should always be tasting that nice silky pour there. So getting back to let's get into, like I said, a little bit of history when it comes to this. So now I have 2 pours, and they seem to have poured correctly both times. Isn't that hilarious? Stop. All right. So anyway, it is a rich, creamy, dark black color, of course, and it is, again, it's loved by all. We all know this. You can't even see my finger behind it. That's just, this is how dark this beer is. Typically, before anybody else really came out with stouts, if you said you wanted a stout at a bar, it was automatic that they go to Guinness. It's just automatic. So that's what they look at, this rich, creamy, dark black color. It's got these nice little hints of roasted coffee, chocolate, They like to say that it has a nice ruby red color to it. And doggone it, I mean, yeah, sure. If you want to look at the very tippity top of that to try and get a little bit of like a color in from the lights, great. I can definitely see a little bit of ruby red. They're not wrong. But all in all, I think that we can't see through it, and it is very dark in color. I think that the best way to put it is that it is a black coloring, which is great. Again, nice, rich, silky, creamy head to it. It's just smoothly balanced with like a bitter and sweet, roasted, nutty notes on everything. Even in the taste, just heavy and coffee. Sometimes when I drink a Guinness, I am definitely thinking more along the lines of like, my God, I could probably put ice in this, a little bit of cream, and I could probably walk around telling people that this is an iced coffee. That's how a Guinness tastes to me, is like a nice alcoholic iced coffee. And I'll take it, absolutely. So those of you that are going to enjoy some Guinness this weekend, some fun facts, obviously created by Arthur Guinness in 1759. The first pour wasn't actually done until 1959. And to celebrate that 200 years, they ended up pouring all kinds of different beer or all kinds of stout that day for everybody. All kinds of Guinness, rather, I should say, not all kinds of stouts. But 200 years later was when the first pour of Guinness was made, even after it was created, or actually when Arthur Guinness decided to create Guinness beer. So yeah, you guys, really good beers. I hope that you're all going to celebrate safely for St. Patrick's Day and have you some Guinness. I know that it's kind of iconic for me to go to a brewery on St. Patrick's Day, or any bar for that matter, that day. And I will always have my Guinness car bomb. That's a thing. You have to have your car bomb. So of course, the Baileys and JMO. I do the JMO and Baileys and shoot that into the glass. No, I'm not doing a car bomb with you guys today. Cheers, though. But if you see me on St. Patrick's Day, by all means, let's go and grab us a car bomb for sure. It'll be great. Irish car bomb, guys. Irish car bomb. Yeah. So I'm going to touch base on a couple of things here real quick, just to segue out of it. And just so that you are where Ireland is, it's over here. So we will scratch that out eventually, and you will see that probably on the next show that we've scratched that little area out. But there are some things I wanted some of us ladies to know as well, including you guys. Do not think I'm not going to include you, but there is a society out there called the Pink Boots Society. You guys, they have a chapter here in Denver. They have chapters all over the nation. And what is Pink Boots Society? Well, it is a company that is women-owned, and what they do is they do beer reviews, and they help out in the beer industry, and they play a major role in the beer industry, from events to brewing to acknowledging women in this field. I think it's awesome and amazing, and I'm super excited to have joined that society. I do want to become a member of the Pink Boots Society. That will happen right now. I'm just following them, but we'll get there. But anyway, Pink Boots Society, they're diversified, they're inclusive, they do fundraising, there are member perks, they always give you the latest in beer news, especially when it comes to women in brewing, in breweries. They also just gave an award away to the Lady Justice team for their performance in brewing and how good their things are. They offer scholarships, you guys. They offer scholarships, and as I said, they support women in beer. So if we had gotten to them a week earlier, then we would have known that Prost Beer Brewing over there in, what is that, Highlands, probably? They actually had a women's beer collab day. They're hosted by the Pink Boots Society. Wish I would have known that. I would have been there in a second to go ahead and film there, to know that we would have gotten some really great views of women in this industry brewing beer for the day. I love it. I went to one, obviously, during Women's Collab Beer Day a few years ago in Florida. As a matter of fact, I believe I was in St. Pete's with another coworker of mine when I used to work at this insane bottle shop in Sarasota. But man, it was so neat. We were at this event where we were in this open area, and it was hot out. Obviously, it's Florida, but we were in this open area, and there were 7 different women brewing. Like, they had their whole setup right in front of them. You know, they had their frames over them, so they were, you know, underneath some shade. They had some little pop-up tents, so they were underneath that. But each and every one of them was brewing something new and something different. And it was amazing to see all of these women out there with their product. That was one of my first times really seeing women doing this in the industry, and I loved it. I loved seeing that and being a part of that. So become a part of the Pink Boots Society if you want to, everybody. I think it's a great idea. Find out where they're going to be next. Follow them on the gram for sure. Get out there and become a part of this women's movement with breweries. Hell, even if you're a guy, get into the brewery industry. Find out what it's up to. It's so much better going and having a beer than it is going and having a bunch of liquor drinks. Honest to God. At least that's how I feel. So don't get me wrong, you can see me at a bar too, and you'll probably see me this weekend, Adam, but I truly prefer breweries over a bar any day these days. Just a couple of other women-owned breweries that are out there that I'd love to just let you know about. We talked about Lady Justice. We talked about them moving to Englewood to Acoma Street on March 20th. And their, like I said, opening day will be for the public, I guess, is going to be April 6th and 7th for their grand opening. Bärstad Brewery. You guys right there on, what is that, Walnut? Or Blake Street, rather? Walnut. On Walnut. I love that place. I'm always there, like probably once a week for a giant 1 liter Helles, 2 liter, good Lord, they never let me back at work, for a nice liter of Helles. And I always get a pretzel while I'm there. They've got awesome little meat trays too, with all the different broths and sausages too. They even have, like, I get the big ass pretzel. They have a bigger ass pretzel. I didn't think there could be a bigger ass than that, but they've got one. Yeah, delicious stuff, you guys. Their mac and cheese is good. Food all around. Excellent place. Gigantic brewery. There's an upstairs, there's a downstairs, there's an outside, there's an inside. There's 2 outsides to it, a front and a back. There's a lot of adult games and things to play downstairs. Not crazy sexual adult games, you guys. But I mean, like, oversized cornhole, and that didn't sound too crazy either. Or just adult games. Enjoy. I felt like I was going to bring myself down a rabbit hole I would never come back out from. So anyway, another really great brewery that was around the corner from a place that I was at yesterday is a Gold Spot Brewery. And Gold Spot Brewing is a very awesome, inclusive brewery. Again, run and operated by women. Absolutely go and visit them. Great beers on tap. Great family style people there. I love it. Absolutely. You guys will love it too. What else do we want to talk about in the beer industry? My goodness. We know the 20th of March is going to be Bach Beer Day, of course, Bach Beer Day. April 10th is Colorado Pint Day. Get involved, be a part of it. Let's do it. What else we got? Of course, St. Patrick's Day. You guys, find me out there on Saturday. We found out that Saturday is the parade. I may have been speaking at a couple of these shows that we've had saying that it'll probably be on Sunday since St. Patrick's Day is on a Sunday. No, why on earth would they make that a thing? No, it's going to be the day before so that you have 2 days worth of partying to do. I plan on partying both of those days as well, guys. So we will party together. If I see you, come find me. I will be dressed in all kinds of green stuff everywhere. I pretty much St. Patrick's Day throws up on me, and I embrace every second of it. But I will be out there with coupons, some swag, some other adult yum-yums. We'll talk about that on the second part of the show. And some beads to give away, because what does Tracy and her father always pull out on St. Patrick's Day? And he will not be here with us for this St. Patrick's Day. He's staying in Florida. But I always pull out a sign that I did not have up here right now that says, show me your shamrocks. You show me your shamrocks, we'll definitely give you some beads, my friend, some shamrocky beads for you. Does that mean I want you to take your shirt off in front of me and in front of a giant parade full of family? No. But if you want to shake your shamrocks, you go right ahead and do that, and you'll get some beads from me for sure. Alrighty. So that's definitely going to be a thing. Come see me on those days. Otherwise, you guys, for the beer segment part of this, I just want to say thank you all so much for joining me for that. We're going to go into the second part of the show in just a moment. Get you a Guinness, get you an Edelweiss from Kokopelli Brewery over in Westminster, and enjoy. Guys, I will see you on St. Patrick's Day. So thank you for those of you that joined us for the beer segment part. We're going to get on to our cannabis segment of it. I know you want to get on to the cannabis segment part of it too, babe. Yes, of course. Quiet there now. Quiet. So anyway, what part of this next? Yeah, I know. Okay. Yeah, yes, I know. You always have something to say, Yingling, and we're always listening, right, folks? We're always listening to what Yingling has to say. He speaks a lot. He does. So what are we talking about today on our cannabis segment part of it? Oh my goodness, you guys. So there's a couple things I actually really want to talk about. And one of those things before I segue into what I brought for us to review is something very funny. You know, I bring up a lot different customers that we deal with at dispensaries, not just mine, but definitely everybody has dealt with these customers before. And what did I tell you guys at last week's episode? I said, we are not magical. Bud tenders don't have a super scientific, magical way that we enjoy our cannabis better or easier than you. We are here to help you. We are here to talk to you about things. You can ask your bud tender how to do things. I've had customers ask me how to smoke a joint. How do you smoke a joint? We showed you last week, right? Took it out, told you how to light it, turn it a little bit. Sometimes if you have to, you want to loosen it up a little, right? Now, we're not going to smoke this joint, but I am going to show you guys a little something, okay? Just to show you. So, had a customer last week, right? And we don't mind sarcasm. We don't mind stupidity. We really don't. We try to help you with that stupidity sometimes. But I just can't fix your stupidity when you're not trying. So, had a gentleman call up. He said he bought 3 $5 joints from us, right? 3 $5. That is the cheapest joint to have. It is third party, so we're not even going to get into which third party it was, but it's third party. So it's definitely not our fault if something is wrong with it. It's definitely not something that we should fix if there's something wrong with it. However, I can guide you right now as to how to help prevent a problem you may have with your joint. Alrighty? So, problem this gentleman had. It's kind of magical himself actually saying this, because in all of my years, I've never come across this. Calls up, he says, so I bought 3 of your $5 joints, lit the first one, and it didn't smoke. Nothing came out of it. I sucked and nothing came out of it. Well, it sounds to me like you just suck, because that's impossible for nothing at all to come out of it. For absolutely zero, zip, zilch smoke to not come out of your joint. Okay? You are one of the first people in history for that to really kind of happen, because it does not happen often. So, he then proceeded to tell me that rather than do anything with it, he just kept lighting it until it, assuming, didn't work anymore. Didn't really elaborate. But then he went and he lit the second joint. Guess what happened on the second joint? Same exact thing. So now he's twice the anomaly. Twice the anomaly, you guys. Amazing. He then proceeds to tell us he lit his third joint. Third time's a charm. He had the exact same problem. And I says, I'm really not sure what you want us to do about that. I said, so you didn't bother to, and I'll show you now, you didn't bother to do this. You didn't bother to try and soften it up yourself. You didn't squeeze it a little, okay? Okay, did you try opening it? Did you try opening it up? Okay, loosening it just a little bit more, right? Hear me? You hear the noises you're hearing? That's me loosening the joint a little bit. And then you take it and you put it back. So it's not as tight, it's looser. You'll get more of a full pull through with that. And we put it back together. We didn't waste a damn thing. We didn't even light it yet. And I can guarantee you'll get smoke out of this. Okay? So they didn't do any of that. And instead of, getting through to this person in any way, they said, you don't want me to write a bad review, do you? I said, no, gosh, no, I really don't. Let me put you on with my manager. My manager kind of sat there and listened to the same thing and kind of said the same thing, kind of felt the same way. So what did we end up telling this guy to do? Tell you what, sir, I've got a 3-pack of raw cones here in the store. You can come in, you can buy that pack. We'll give it to you. Not buying it. We will give you a 3-pack of cones. You take those home and you repack each one of these joints that you said didn't work in the cones that were created with it. And you repack them and put them into those cones. And you see if they light better. Okay? That's what we would have done had that been the ultimate last thing to be able to do. Okay? Prior to that, we would have tried all the things I just showed you what to do. Anybody that has an issue with lighting a joint, I mean, I guess I'm getting at, like, if you don't know how to light it, maybe stick with just flour and a pipe. But if you do, then you would be doing those things to it to make sure. Nobody that I know, including people that aren't bud tenders, light that joint as soon as they pull it out of the tubing. Nobody I know does that. And I'm 44 years old. I have met people since I was 13 years old. Nobody does it. Sorry, mom and dad. Nobody does that. We all check our joints, guys. So let's just play it a little smarter and we check things. We make it fit for us. But you went through 3 of them and you wanted us to somehow reimburse you for a third-party product. What I would probably end up truly have said is maybe call the manufacturer of that product and let them know that their joint failed you, that 3 of their joints failed you, and see where we go from there. But to call us up and complain about a third-party product that was $5, you didn't opt for the $12, you didn't opt for the $14, and you didn't opt for the $18. You didn't go for the $18 green dot joint. You didn't go for the $20 live rosin Eden joint. You went for a $5 third-party low-end joint. That's really all I have to say about that. So again, we try to educate you guys with cannabis. We try to educate you in such a way that we give it to you in layman's terms. We talk to you about it in layman's terms, and we show you improvements on things. When someone asks me, how do I do this better? I show them when they're there. So the same thing I just showed you guys with the joint, I showed that to a customer. Same thing I showed you last week on how to light a joint. I don't light the joint for the customer in the dispo, but I certainly will show them how to rotate and keep the lighter up. There are ways to do it, but there is no masterful, magical way that we accomplish this any better than you. We just aren't stupid about it, okay? And yes, I'm throwing that out there, stupid about it, because this was an easy solution that you could have saved $15 rather than waste $15 and then call us up complaining that you didn't know what to do when you lit your joint. Okay, so that being said, let us travel on to what we're going to get into next. What we're getting into next is going to be Chaos Krispies. Why do I have 2 of them here? Why? Why indeed? So Chaos Krispies, Fruity Rebel Krispies, Chaos Krispies, Fruity Rebel Rosin Krispies. Distillate, rosin. All right. Why am I showing this? Because there is a stigma out there for people that seem to think that when when someone says, oh, you should try this rosin, they They think that it's going to get them stupid high, and I'm going to be so messed up because it's rosin. I think that's because somebody told them, and they're not wrong, but somebody told them that's because rosin is the purest, cleanest form of THC you'll get. And it is. It is, because what they do to make rosin is they freeze the entire plant in its entirety, all the good stuff. And then they use heat, pressure, and ice to extract that oil. So you are getting the highest percentage of the THC. You're getting the purest part of the THC, yes. But it's not made, or it's not created to get you higher. It's created to show you the difference between something clean and something cut. What do we mean by cut? So most distillates, distillate edibles that you'll get, and most distillate in general, whether it be vape or whatever the case may be, you've got your regular ingredients. And I know you guys aren't going to be able to see much of what I'm pointing out because of the tiny print. But right here is all your ingredients. And what does that have in there? Marshmallows and Rice Krispies and butter and sugar and all that shit, right? Absolutely. Above that, right here where my finger is, alrighty? We're going to try and get a little bit in there. It is going to be blurry, but right up where my finger is, my finger is by the red, and above that is the little white writing. The white writing says something very specific. It's part of the ingredients. That is butane, propylene, or propane, butane, ethanol, okay? Butane, ethanol, propane, okay? Guys, that's what's in your distillate. That's what distillate is cut with. What's in my infused Chaos Crispy? Well, we've got those ingredients, right? And we've got nothing above my finger here that actually says that it has solvents in it. Nothing, because it's solventless. The cleanest hit you can take. Okay? So really, when it comes to rosin versus distillate, you're looking at a cleaner, solventless hit. Pure THC versus something that is cut. It does not even going to say that it does not. It will slightly get you a little bit more high. Why though? Because it's solventless, because it's clean. Yes, of course, but slightly. Your high isn't going to send you into Wackadoo Town, okay? You're not going to Funky Town. It's not happening, I promise. You're going to get sort of that same effect with just a little bit of a heightened feeling on the rosin as you would on here. The only difference, the main difference, is that you're going to be having something that does not have all of those solvents in it by going with a cleaner hit, okay? So this includes your gummies, this includes your chocolates, your Rice Krispie treats, your Skittles, Joy Bombs, your lollies, because now Mountain High Suckers has a distillate and CBD lolly, and then on the other hand, they've got a live rosin lolly. Again, it's not about you getting higher off of this live rosin lolly. It's about you getting that cleaner hit, okay? It's just about it being cleaner. So we're going to open them up because I'm also going to show you that there really isn't a change in the look. There might be a slight change, and that's what we're going to get into. There might be a slight change in the taste. Most things that are made with rosin, it is a little bit more difficult to get away from that taste. But I've had things that I know for a fact do not have that rosin taste to them. And they are just magical to me in that sense, because I hate eating my weed. I'm a huge hater when it comes to eating my weed. And I know that there's a lot of people that love that. And like, I can tell you right now, I pulled this out, I opened it up, and I got a whiff of a little bit of cannabis smell in there. Did that throw me off a little bit? Sure, because as I just said, I don't want to eat my weed. So we're going to pull these both out for you. 1 second. Okay. So, rosin, regular. distillate, right? There aren't any real differences between these two. Nothing visually. It's all going to be in the taste, alrighty? Each of these are 100 milligram bars, 10 milligram pieces, 10 pieces a piece. They are perforated. You can slightly see that on there. You'll see some slight little lines going on. So you want to break off yourself a piece, little square will do you. Alrighty, and we're going to do that for the regular distillate. We're going to also do that here with the rosin. And again, put them right up to you and show you yet again, no differences in your looks, none. Alrighty. Really, no difference in the smell either. They both smell quite good. Maybe when I opened up that rosin one, it may have had like a little bit more of a weed smell to it, but they're both out in the open right now, not having any rosin issues, not having a smell, rather, a weed smell of any sort. So let's give them a try, right? It's time. And you all know me, I'm not going to eat a whole thing in front of you, although I like to. But yeah, little bit of a rosin taste in there. Not going to lie. Is it overwhelming? No. No, not at all. In fact, I can bypass that taste with the thought of truly these tasting like the Flintstone Fruity Pebbles. So I'm just kind of thinking of Fred and Barney as I chew on this one. And I really don't, it does not to me at all taste like I'm eating weed. It really doesn't. And again, you guys know me. You know me well enough that there is no damn way I will enjoy eating my weed. So I was actually quite happy with the taste of that. So the distillate one, right? Same thing, same look, same everything about it, right? Great taste. Honestly, no one's going to tell you that either one of these tastes awful in comparison to the other, because they don't. They both taste equally fantastic. The only difference, we're going to keep saying, rosin, distillate, clean, solvents. That is the main difference of these two items. And I mean, really, you have a lot of people that come into the store and they're shopping for mom, or they're shopping for dad, or they're shopping for sis. And we all know that we're not supposed to shop for them. We're supposed to shop for ourselves in there. But we can't help but mistake in the fact that they've already said it. It's already in our mind. I'm sorry. If I'm shopping for my mother, I don't think I'm going to look at things and be like, oh, you know what? She's going to love these solvents. No. I'm going to get her a clean hit rosin edible that she can enjoy that's going to be solventless for her. More older people, sorry, mom and dad, when I say that, but more older people are trying to get off of drugs and narcotics and trying not to be, pill laden for the rest of their lives. And you want to go out and get them something with distillate in it or something with solvents in it. Well, why don't you just feed them the pills again? So that's how I look at that. I would look for something that I would want to be clean for my mother or father if I'm purchasing something for them. I mean, for me. MED, if you're listening. So yeah, you guys just know that the stigma has to end when it comes to how people feel about rosin. Smoking it? Yeah, you're going to get higher. We're not going to lie about that. THC content certainly does matter when it comes to concentrates. Yes. But when I'm eating something, I definitely want to eat something clean. And it's shocking to me that if anyone else feels that I'd rather stick with the distillate, I'm sure then that you probably eat great value foods from Walmart with, what is that, Hep C they found in there? Or maybe you drink Coors Light that has carcinogens in it. Or maybe you like to eat chicken nuggets that are made from paste and pink shit. That's you. That's great. But we want to get on a cleaner line of living. So I'm going to eat rosin instead. So when it comes down to it, I really just wanted to go over the differences about distillate versus rosin. And I think that, you guys really need to start branching out a bit and discovering what the benefits of rosin are in comparison to things that are cut with solvents. Okay, distillate, resin, those are all cut with solvents. Rosin is the way we're going. Rosin is the way we should go. I think what kind of saddens me about rosin right now in general in the dispo world is that it's so expensive. And it truly shouldn't be. Because as I said, we're supposed to be here at this point. This is where we've gotten to. So we should start bringing those prices of rosin down because that's where people should be headed. I get that you might really enjoy a distillate gummy or a distillate edible of some sort. That's great. But if we could get you to maybe try eating stuff that doesn't have solvents in it, I think you would be a happier camper. I know I am. So anyway, you guys, let's go over some events that we're having that are coming up. 3:30. So the March 30th is the 2024 Connoisseur Cup at Dave's house, Cannabis Connoisseur Cup. Definitely, you guys head on to that. Find your tickets for that. You definitely want to show up at Dave's house for the Connoisseur Cup. On the 28th of March, of course, is the Rooster Magazine kickoff to April. That's where they do the awards for best everything in the cannabis world, I guess you could say. So I'm super excited about that. Of course, we've got the 420 Carnival happening in Colorado Springs at Inhale Resorts, brought to you by, I cannot remember the company, but that's okay. We will definitely write that down in our gram post for sure later on as we thank some people. We've got 420 again at Civic Center Park. I believe it's hosted yet again by Jars Cannabis. So you may or may not see me there as well. I'm definitely doing some 111 pop-ups that day. As well, I'll be helping out with Jacob from Pyramid because they are going to be releasing something special for you guys on that day. I will let them get into it when we have Jacob back on the show before that event occurs. As you know, the last time we had Jacob on, we had a really great show, had a really great time, but you guys would never know that because unfortunately the volume didn't work that day. So I really want to have him back on the show, get him talking to you guys about what we talked about the entire time that you guys heard. So we'll get into that for sure. Other than that, I've got on the 6th of April, we still got Ollie's Terps and Glass event coming up. So I believe he may still have tickets for that. As I told you guys, they've got some really great guest judges. Just get your tickets, my friends. Get your tickets. There are some other things coming up as well. There is a Scentsy night for 4/19. So April 19th, it's going to be on a Friday. I already have my ticket for that. So come and join me for that one as well. That's another Scentsy industry night. If you guys don't know what Scentsy magazine is, look it up, figure it out. You will love it. They have a lot of industry event nights here in Denver for sure. Maybe once, twice a month. Also, just some really great news, guys. If you haven't heard or if you don't follow Cirrus Lounge in Denver on Colfax, guys, they're this close. They are this close to opening. They are offering memberships right now. If you go on to the Cirrus Lounge in Denver, check them out, and you will see that you can get some different gift cards or membership cards as well to be a part of that. There are different tiers offered for what you can get to be a part of Cirrus Lounge. So definitely check them out. I think, feel, and hope that they are going to open for April for 420. Looking forward to it, guys. I hope you are too. If you're in the Denver area, absolutely come check that out. Other than that, I want to say that is it for today, you guys. It for today. Next week, do I have something going on? I don't think I have any guests for next week. I think it's just going to be me. Let me find out. I'll let you know on the gram. However, on the 25th of March, we are going to have Billy Cox from Bongathon joining us to talk a little bit about some events coming up in April. as well as to talk to you guys about Bongathon. I'm telling you, you want to tune in for that episode. I have never been to a more iconic event in my life as I did with Bongathon. It is an amazing experience. Love every second of it. I love that they do these 1 gram races. Yeah, you're going to have a blast. Please tune in next week, or on the 25th, rather, for that. On the 1st of April, I've got Laura from Joy Bombs coming back, because again, that was another episode, as you know, that we had such a good time, such a great show, and the volume was out on that one too. Guys, I don't know what the hell the problem is with the volume on these things, but I try. I really do. So, I have gotten used to the fact that I now also, this is why you may see me sometimes looking that away. I'm also recording on a separate computer, just so that we know that if something doesn't back up here, we've got it over there. So I'm pulling everything this time. I'm trying it all. I'm making sure that we can get each show on there as correctly and as good as we can. So thank you all for hanging in there with me. Tune into another episode next week of the Sesh Connection. I'm your host, Tracy Valentine. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, don't forget to follow us on the gram. We're at _sesh_connection. And of course, here on the gram, if you're already joining us, you know, but if not, it's the YouTube channel / @the_sesh_connection, all one word. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. I so appreciate it. Love you all. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great week. I'll see you next week.